We're talking about the sun's next transit, which began yesterday. That would have been August 28th at about 4 p.m. The sun's began its transit in gate 40. And gate 40, if you will look on your human design chart, it's located in the heart center. One of these days, I'm going to figure out um, how to. Oh, there we go. Can I include a picture? I want to add a photo in the chat because you can see where it lives. But if you pull out your chart, all those numbers live in the same place in everybody. It may or may not be lit up for you. So if you look in the heart center, which is the smallest of all of the triangles, it's sort of up and to the right, in the mid. So it's the heart center. It's the will center, also called the ego center, is where 40 lives. So right off the bat, you know that this is an energy that has something to do with willpower and your ego and your motivation and what you have the will to do. What makes you so impassioned that you're willing to go after it? This is going to be something that's worth it to you. Everything that has to do with the heart center is like, is it worth it to me? Is it worth my while? Is it worth my effort? Is it worth my money? Do I place value on this thing? So gate 40 is called, specifically, now we're going to zoom down in, and look at this energetic frequency that's called the gate of deliverance or the gate of aloneness. Now, what the hell does that mean? It means you have the will to show up and do the hard work, to deliver, to serve, to continuously nourish and provide for those who depend on you. Um, Gate 40 is very tribal, and so it's very concerned about the well-being and survival of its family, of its community, of its loved ones. And so it's all about protecting and nourishing the tribe so that it can survive and flourish. And so it's a real workhorse. Gate 40 really, in the highest expression, I always try to help you find what the high vibe of these, if you're going to be influenced by these energies, or if you carry this one in your body, then by all means reach for the highest vibration so that you can make the most of it and, be a light in this world, in this dark fucking world. Be a light of loving kindness and compassion and goodness, and a source of well-being and calm and nourishment for your people, and avoid the low vibe frequencies, because a lot of times we grow up with these energies in our bodies and they're very confusing and we don't know how to use them, and we default to the negative side, the quote unquote bad vibes of what we carry in our bodies. And so because we don't know any better, and before you know it, like for the case of gate 40, if you're using it in the low vibe, you might come off as very selfish, as very egotistical, as very much the person who says, I'm the only one who's good enough to do this. I am the only one who deserves this. I'm going to do it myself. I don't need anybody around me. I alone am the important one here, which can come off as very egotistical. It can be construed as very self-centered, right? And so if you're a child and you're defaulting to that because you're clumsy at using your powers as a child, you might be called self-centered or selfish as a child. And so you would totally shut this one off. You might bury it as much as you could in the back of your closet and say, well, being selfish and putting myself first and prioritizing myself and saying, I can do this. I'm going to work hard and be the one to help my people survive. I'm going to shut that shit down. I don't want anybody to see that. That got me into trouble. That got me criticized. So I'm going to tamp that down and not show anybody that how hard I can work and just how much I know that I can pull this off. If not me, nobody else is going to do it, but I'm going to shut that down. So I'm going to always defer to other people. All right, so let's back. I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to make sure that we can cover the high vibe first. And actually, before we even get there, I want to back up a couple of weeks and look at how we got here. Because as I said, the transits are all we're always circumnavigating through these transits in the same order. If a planet goes retrograde, it just goes backwards a little bit, which all those outer planets are doing. Uranus beginning on September 6th. So we're coming into that while it'll join Saturn and Neptune and Pluto, which are all already retrograde. Uranus is going to join the party pretty soon. But they're going to just kind of like review and return and go over some of the same gates again, just in reverse, and then they'll go back forward. All right, but let's look back at where we were a few weeks ago with the sun's transit. The sun, let's remember back to gate 29 a couple of weeks ago. Like 2 weeks ago, we had gate 29, if you'll recall, was the gate of the abysmal, right? It was this energy for having us say yes to life, whatever comes our way. Okay, I guess I'll raise my hand. Sure, I'll fucking do that, whatever, without really thinking about it too much first. Being super agreeable, maybe saying yes to the wrong agreements, partnering up or agreeing to get involved in a project that maybe was not going to turn out to be great. But either way, having this sort of openness, this mentality of like, well, I'm here to live life. I came to this planet. I'm gonna live with my full heart. So jumping in with both feet, jumping off the cliff into the abyss and saying, well, whatever's clever. Oh, my dog doesn't know like who is at the door. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Huh? Sorry. She has a couple of frenemies in the neighborhood, and we have the door propped open, and yeah, that dog walked past one of her frenemies. Anyway, so we agreed a couple of weeks ago during the sun's transit in 29 to say, all right, I'll try something. I'll try anything once. Okay. And then maybe, let's think about that. I don't want to waste too much time backtracking, but you can think about that on the collective level. Like, what were people doing in our country? What was our leadership agreeing to? What partnerships were they saying yes to? What plans and strategies were they saying, well, all right, we'll try anything. We'll throw spaghetti at the wall. That was around the time, if my math is right, that we had the Alaska meeting. Yeah, that's what's really standing out in my mind, where some people had no other choice but to probably agree to things that they maybe knew better not to do. um, Okay, so then we moved into gate 59 last week. So for 6 days, we had the energy of 59, which is intimacy. It's planting a seed. It's fertilizing the egg. It's really wanting to proliferate humanity and to create. It's sexuality, right? It's this deep connection. We want so we jump from, yeah, okay, I'll try that, to like, all right, I'm all in. Let's go. Let's get in there and get to know each other and get to um, be really creative in a process, or just like really dig in and get in there and break down barriers and get through to someone that we were maybe unable to really connect with before. So it's really, last week we were finding ways to connect, or in the low vibe, which a lot of people used, thinking about this on a national scale, tearing through boundaries that in a way that was unwelcomed and unasked for, um, with all of the National Guard troops that are being sent to DC, and now being threatened to be sent to Chicago, that the ICE and all the people that have already been through at LA for weeks and weeks and weeks, months now, um, this violation of people's boundaries. It was a establishing a connection and a union that nobody wanted. Now, excuse me, now we move into this gate 40, which is this will to show up and serve, or not, right? Every gate has this flip side where you can be all in on the full meaning of it or none of it because you have shut it down, you're hiding it, you're not able, for whatever reason, conditioning that taught you or past experience or whatever told you it's not safe to show this power that you have in you. So those of you that have this gate 40, your like highest qualities, your highest potential, and what all of us have access to this week, whether we want it or not, build a boundary around it. If you don't want to succumb to this energy and you just want to turn it off, just sit back and watch and notice it happening. But here's what we're all under the influence of. And we are, those of us who don't have this, I don't have this one, my husband does. And I'm grateful that I married a guy with gate 40. Um, if you watch and observe these themes coming through the week, this is how people are being influenced. Okay, so the high vibe, um, these are people who find happiness and solitude in happiness in solitude, in being alone. You're comfortable being by yourself. You need that every once in a while. It a lot of people couch this one as like you need deep self-care. Yes, you do need to recharge, replenish. But that doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to go get a mani-pedi. It doesn't mean you need a bubble bath. It means like go for a run, shut everything off. You don't like take out the earbuds, just like be by yourself. Don't have the influence or the interference of other people up in your junk. You need to get centered, your heart center, right? That's what my husband often describes. His birthday's coming up, so his conscious sun is actually gate 40, and so this is such a powerful energy for him. This guy, and if you have this too, you are a workhorse. Like these people have the enormous power to just keep working. So you're a provider. This is the breadwinner of the whole chart. So, back up again. We said yes, we committed, we connected, we agreed to build a union, and now we're going to fucking work for it. We're going to show up with our whole heart and we're going to provide for this person or this uh, situation or this project or this new job or whatever that we have committed to. We are going to put our whole body into it. It's worth it to us. We are driven to provide and to keep delivering. Okay. Um, this is a devoted person. This is someone who also has, curiously, sensitivity to touch. This is a real, like your love language is probably sense of touch. And these are generous people willing to share what the fruits of their labor. Um, Willing to just like give it back. So as I said, this is a tribal energy. If you look to where it is connecting to in a channel, it reaches out toward gate 37, which is the glue. This is the gate of harmony, of family and friendship. And I always think about it as like the matriarch of the family is 37. So you almost have like this, not to put gender roles to it, but there's the breadwinner, and then there's the one who has Sunday dinner. Everybody gathers around grandma's table for dinner on Sundays, right? It's that 37. The glue, everybody gathers and rallies around this person. You're the one who people come to because they know that they have to meet the rules and expectations, and the culture of the family is such that we gather. You know, the 37 is that foodie that wants to make dinner, and it's an emotional gate, and it's like the best way to someone's heart is through the stomach, right? So they're like cooking, gather at my table. Um, 40 is providing for that, right? And so when you have the heart energy, this will to serve, and then you have this sort of matriarchal gather at my table. You have the channel of community, and so together, 40 is very concerned about their loved ones over here, and so they'll do everything to buy the grocery list for this one to cook dinner and to get everybody gathered around. And this person 40 loves to see that everybody is enjoying what they have provided. So there's a very much um, a let's get everybody uh, to lean into their strengths. Let's encourage everybody to be able to give what they can. But I'm over here. I alone can also run this ship, and I can be at 40. I can be the one who leads. That heart energy is always like, I'll go first, follow me. I'm going to be risky and daring, and I have the courage to head out in front. And I'll look over my shoulder and say, it's safe. Follow me. You can come up this way. All right. On the low vibe side, uh, don't do these things, gate 40s. And even if you don't have it and you notice yourself being influenced by this energy all week, here's what to avoid. These are the red flags. Being needy, not being able to be alone, not doing any kind of service to yourself, not giving yourself that self care or that critical solitude where you just can get in your own zone, replenish and recharge. When you're denying yourself that, you cannot turn around the next day and get up and work hard and serve your people. It doesn't work, right? You have to be able to recognize that you have, whether it's leadership or a obligation, um, and you can't shirk those duties, but you need to replenish yourself to be able to show up for that. Um, in the low vibe with gate 40, we can be afraid of responsibility. We can become um, avoidant of showing up for our duties and obligations. We can become resentful of the people who depend on us. We can become very judgmental against people who have a difficult time providing for themselves. We can have some intolerance around people who don't show up and work as hard as we do and expect everybody else to have this workhorse breadwinner mentality, and judge them for maybe there's someone who's a real free spirit. Maybe there's someone who's out there experimenting their way through. Maybe there's someone who makes a lot of pivots in their work life. And the gate 40 can be very judgmental of that in the low vibe. Um, Yeah, they will, need to be around people all the time and can't abide just, like, can't tolerate having to be alone. So this is, like, they desperate for that sense of community. They need their family's approval. They need to have their friends around them all the time. They need to distract themselves. They can't, like, break away the noise. Um Let's see, what else? Yeah, you can refuse to serve. You can just, like, flat out refuse to help out, and you can be very selfish, whereas the high vibe is very generous and willing to share the fruits of their labor. The the low vibe gate 40 is like, "No, I earned this. I did this for myself. I don't want you to have it. You don't deserve it." So, given that, on a more collective scale where I see, because our administration that, is weighing on all of us so heavily right now. I see a lot of what I anticipate through the week is more of this arrogance, more shaming and removing of rights of people who are already at a disadvantage. I see more of that sort of old guard mentality where you better work hard to earn your own damn money. We're not going to foot the bill for the welfare queens kind of thing. You have to provide for yourself. I see that coming from our government all the time. I'm anticipating there being more of that, right? Because they're all low vibe. There's just like there's no evidence to suggest that Trump or Stephen Miller or um, Mike Johnson or Christy Nome or whatever, or Bondi, any of them. None of them are high vibe individuals. They're all missing the mark. They're all missing the opportunity to reach for the highest vibration every damn week. They are continuously choosing the low vibe pathway. And so we are unfortunately all the victims of that, right? So let's make the conscious choice in our own lives to reach for the highest vibration. This is a secret. This shouldn't be a secret, but apparently it's a secret that you have a choice. And this is the key, reaching for the high vibration. So if you suddenly feel fueled to just be a workhorse and a breadwinner, by all means, do it out of a sense of altruism and generosity and in order to nourish the tribe. And when you see other people enjoying what you've been able to produce and provide for them, enjoy that. Be grateful that you could do that. Get that solitude. Make sure that you're having alone time. And it doesn't have to be, again, like I said, it doesn't have to be supreme, a spa day for self-care. It's about having solitude and no distractions. Okay. How's that going to work for you guys? This goes on through September 3rd. Gate 40 will be in play about 11 a.m. Eastern time. I should have said that earlier. I'm on the East Coast. So, through Thursday. No, I'm sorry. Just through September 3rd. I don't know what day that is. And then from there, the story unfolds. We go into gate 64, which is called the Gate of Confusion, aka before completion. So we are going to go balls to the wall, working hard this week to show up for our people. And then the brakes get put on. We get up into our heads and we start going, something isn't right here. There's a piece missing to this puzzle. So we will stay tuned and lean into that when it comes. So until then, it looks like I'm solo here, and that's totally fine. I hope some of you catch this later on the replay. If you wish to book a session with me, you can always do that. I'm happy to interpret your chart. You can book that at my website too, at JaneenEllsworth.com. Or reach out to me through the newsletter. If you hit reply to any of my emails, any of my newsletter sends, it comes right to me. So I'll just read that. I don't, have a staff or anything. It's just me. Speaking of which, I do have to get to work. So it's been a pleasure spending some time this morning with you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing as well as you can be, despite the circumstances. Check out my very quick summary of these big planets, outer planets, doing their retrogrades for the lessons they're trying to teach us, because I think it's going to be really helpful in understanding the big picture of like what we can do despite this nonstop barrage of bad news. Let's look for the little teeny tiny pieces of magic. Let's do the best we can with what we got. Let's appreciate the sunshine. This is a beautiful freaking day in my city. It's stunningly gorgeous. So I'm going to just appreciate that as best that I can. All right, you guys, peace, love, warmth, and strength. And shout if you need any help. Thanks for being here with me today. Take care. Bye.